of our lives dealing with extremist ideas or even destructive ideas. We will destroy them today and immediately.
Salman Al-Ansar is a Saudi writer and political commentator. He joins us now live from Riyadh. Mohammed bin Salman said the state has not been normal for the past 30 years. Are you surprised by his comments?
Thank you for having me, Kim. Thank you so much. So I think yesterday's comments were really remarkable, and we could tell that Mohammed bin Salman is such a progressive, such a progressive personality through which he can tell how things were and how we want to develop in the future. I think through this event, which is the Future Investment Initiative, and after he spoke about the NEOM project, which is one of the biggest innovative projects in the world, I think he addressed so many important factors, not only about the economic climate and how Saudi wants to achieve its Vision 2030, but also he addressed some of the things that were kind of concerning for the West and for the people, even in Saudi Arabia, which is the rigidness of the religious discourse from some people within the kingdom. He made it very clear that Saudi Arabia is not going to get back to give some room for anyone who has extremist views or any kind of ideological background that wants to close the Saudi society and to make it not integrated, internationally integrated, etc. Because he explained it very briefly, but if we can have time, we can explain why Saudi has been, before the 79, before the Iranian Revolution, was actually more of a moderate society where people can actually mingle together, male and female, where so many different things, social norms were much easy, etc. But things changed after that time because there was some sort of a momentum globally and within the kingdom and within the region about some kind of conflicts, geopolitical conflicts with Iran after the success of the revolution at that time. So I think right now we, as Saudis, want to close that gap and want to turn the page and get into the future. And not only to get to the future for the Saudi Arabian people, but also for the whole world, because this project, which is going to be in Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Egypt, which is NEOM project, this project is the first of its kind. This project is all about creating the future of science and creating the future of how the 21st century's world should look like. So we are very optimistic. His remarks were very, yeah.
We will get to that project, that sounds very ambitious project in a moment. But just before that, critics say Saudi has essentially been funding extremism or underwriting extremism over recent decades. Now the Crown Prince is vowing to rid extremist thought immediately, he says. Is that essentially an admission of previous wrongs?
I think when it comes to the previous history of Saudi Arabia, let's be very frank. Every country in this world had some issues with governance, had some issue with financial issues of not governing the financial system, by not being able to govern all the religious institutions. So yes, Saudi Arabia was just like any other country before that did not pay enough attention to the details of extremist ideologies and how to combat it. But Saudi had never had the intention to use terrorism as a way or a tool to advance political processes, just like the radical Iranian regime or the Qatari regime. So Saudi has always been in a position where it wants to develop itself from within, and the Crown Prince was very clear that he somehow admitted that Saudi was not doing enough governance on the ideological schools or on the religious understanding, etc. And he wants to get ahead and wants to get into a position where Saudi gets in the front line, not only of combating terrorism, but on the front line of telling the world how a civilized nation should look like and how science and technology should be exploited in such a way that can work for the benefits of the region and the world. So I think there's a lot of optimism. I love the clarity of the Crown Prince. I love the way that he presented the values of Saudi Arabians. I love how he presented with complete clarity that we had some issues in the past, and right now we're going to overcome them. And he said it very clearly that we will not tolerate it anymore, that we will go ahead and work on Saudi Arabia in such a way that will not allow any extremist group to take advantage of the kindness of the Saudi people per se.
Certainly
and he
very
said
strong
clearly,
words.
We will destroy them. We will destroy them. Yes, he said we will destroy extremists now and immediately. That's a very remarkable point, and I think very strong, and we are very hopeful that we will keep up with this momentum, because Saudi Arabia deserves a lot. It's one of the most important countries in the region. It has the three most important straits: Strait of Mandab, Bab Mandab, and Strait of Hormuz, and also Suez Canal. And 10% of the world trade goes through there. And Saudi Arabia is the biggest oil producer, and we want to move away from that. So Saudi Arabia has a lot of weight, and let's not forget the fact that it has the two holy mosques. So that would make it to be the de facto leader of the Arab and Muslim world. So Saudi has a lot of weight, and Prince Mohammed bin Salman wants to use that for the benefits of the region and the whole world.
It is a very interesting topic, one we could talk about for a long time. Only time will tell whether those strong words can translate into action, though. That's Salman Al-Ansari, a Saudi writer and political commentator. Thank you.